I will now demonstrate the language you would use with this resource to introduce the concept of equivalence. Here we have a train station with engines over here and carriages over here. The engines can only pull their own length in carriages, so they need to park over here to see which carriages will match their length exactly. As you can see, the carriages are all lined up in their parking bays. All the parking bays are the same length, but each parking bay has a different number of carriages in it. This one has one carriage. This is the length of the whole parking bay. This parking bay has two carriages, and when they're put together, they measure the whole length of the parking bay. So this is one equal part out of two equal parts. So this is 1/2. This parking bay has 1, 2, 3 carriages, which when put together measures the length of the whole parking bay. So this is one part out of 3 equal parts. So this is 1/3. Continue on to show the children what fraction each parking bay represents. Now, let's start with this engine. It will go up the train tracks and park there to find which carriages will match it. So, will this one match? That is too big. And you would go through until you found a carriage that matched the exact same length as the engine. You might pull this engine off and cover it over the carriage to show that there are no parts overhanging. So that is an exact match for that engine. So this one is 1 equal part out of 3 parts. So 1/3 matches this engine. Now let's see what other carriages can match this engine. This one? That's a bit too small. What if we had another one from that parking bay? Oh, now it's too long. Continue on through the parking bays until you have measured each set of carriages to see if you can make them the length of the engine. So, we've gone through and we've found that these are the carriages that match the length of this engine. So, we can see that one carriage out of 3 equal carriages will fit the length of this engine. We can see that 2 carriages out of 6 equal carriages will also match the length of this engine. We can see that 4 carriages out of 12 equal carriages will also match the length of this engine. So that means that 1/3 and 2/6 and 4/12 all measure the same length. So that means that 1/3 is the same as 2/6 and 2/6 is the same as 4/12 and 4/12 is the same as 1/3. So even though these carriages are different sizes, we can make them measure the same length. So even though fractions may have different denominators and numerators, they can still cover the same portion of the whole. So that concludes my demonstration of introducing the basic concept of equivalence. From here, the demonstration would be repeated for the class, and then the students would access the resource independently to practice and reinforce the concept.